Hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas day, whether you were with family or you were friends or both or on your own like myself. I hope you found joy and happiness, and I hope the day was all that you hoped it would be. Today we're going to be working on biscotti. Again, here we go. Lots of another Frankenstein recipe. 4 different kinds, settled on 2, kind of spliced in a 3rd. So right now I want to show you the ingredients. In the description box I'll have all of it plus the measurements. I'm doing butter, but I've got a little bit of oil with it. So again, I'll have the exact measurements. This egg here is for the wash that's going to go after, but this is the egg. There's 3 of them, and they're going to go into this cookie mixture. I've already done the flour. I've already sifted it through, and I've added some nutmeg, and I've added some baking powder, and I've added my salt. Always got to have salt, either the salt in the butter or the salt inside. If you're like me, I like the salt inside. I use non-salted butter. So, and then we're doing 2 sugars. We're doing the regular white granulated sugar, and then we're doing the brown. Now I sift them together because I want to show you why. Here is those little pesky brown ones that never ever get broken down. So by doing this, it brings it to the surface, and I can go through it and find what's not going to melt, because we're also going to be putting in almonds. Now these are, they didn't have any whole, they didn't have any chopped. I was darn lucky I got the sliced. So what I did is I toasted them up in the oven, so they got that really wonderful nutty flavor coming to the surface. And then I just put it in my little mini chop and chopped them up pretty fine. I've reserved some of this because I'm going to be dipping the cookies into chocolate, which we will go over in another segment. And then I'm going to dip them into this. So right now, this is where we're at. I also have my vanilla here. I'm going to mix this up, then we'll come back, and then I'm going to show you how to make the biscotti loaves, because it's not really about the ingredients. Making biscotti is about a technique. All right, I've got the batter, the wet part of the batter, and as you can see, it's very, very wet. I want that because these cookies dry out. So you want to make sure that you've got plenty of liquid to go into that powder, because once they start baking, it's a twice bake, and it's supposed to dry the cookies out. So you don't want them like, you know, concrete. You don't want that. You want them to have a little bit of a give. So right now I'm going to start adding the flour, and we'll get that going. To get the flour about 2/3 incorporated before I add my ingredients. Now, some of the recipes called for almonds. Some you can use walnuts. Almonds are better. They put chocolate chips in them. They put chopped cranberries in them. They were very very adventurous. I don't really want to go in that direction for my clients. I just want to get them some nice biscotti for the new year. All right, let's add the almonds, and I will see you on the other side when I start to form those loaves, because mixing is very, very boring. All right, so this is the dough. This is where you should be. It's not going to be like a bread dough. Okay, it's not going to be like a bread dough. So this is the nerve-wracking part. This is the nerve-wracking part. You want to just lay it down. Try and get as much off as you can. Keep your fingers keep your fingers floured. I got my bowl of flour to keep me working, because it's going to be messy. It is not going to be, you know, the one to beat all. So we want to make sure that the batter is halved. So when I work out of the bowl, I want you to see what I do. I just kind of part it down the center. I part it down the center, so I've got at least a consistency of what each side, and that way I know what I'm working with. And this is where we're at. I want you to be able to see this. Keeping the hands floured. And we're going to start forming our roll. That it is consistent, because this is it. This is how we're going to be cutting it. And like I said, the key is to keep your hands totally floured. Bring it down too far. It's been a couple of years since I've made biscotti. Every Christmas I try to do something a little bit different, but I had a couple of clients ask me to bring it back. They really liked it. They enjoyed it. So I have to have them a little blunt. You don't want them flat. Okay, you don't want them flat. You want it about the consistency of your finger, the thickness of your finger. So you just kind of move it up in there, and then you just kind of bring it in, and you want to keep it to the width of your finger, because that's going to give you some beautiful biscotti. Okay, I want you to see the consistency. And there's the consistency, and you can see the 1/2 inch thick. Like I said, you don't want it super, super thick. It won't cook. So I'm going to pat it down just one more time, just to make sure that I have got it even across the board, because we matter, because it's not perfect. You want perfect, you go to the bakery. You want imperfect, perfect, made with love, made with joy. I got done now. I want you to know how I patted down the sides just a little bit, just a little bit, so it's not so blockish. Did it with the edges as well. So I want you to see how it looks, okay? And you can see it from the side, so you know what you're doing. Now, it isn't going to be perfect, because we're not pros, okay? We're not pros. We want to do this with love, and if we're not perfect, the baking police are not going to come pounding on your door. I guarantee you that one. Because I can't tell you how many times I have boo-booed, made a mess, overdone, undercooked, and you know what? You just try again. So I've already got my egg kind of beaten up here a little bit, and we're just going to take a little bit off, because we don't want a huge amount, and we're just going to brush it gently over the top, kind of like you would a pie crust. You just want to do just a little bit. It's going to help make it nice and golden brown. All right, the first baking is at 350, and it's going to be for anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. Then we're going to let them cool on the pan for just a few minutes, and then I'm going to transfer them to the cutting board. I'm going to be putting them back onto the tray to bake in the oven 7 minutes. We're going to turn them, and 7 minutes again, and then they're going to cool on the rack. And here we are. This is the biscotti bread. As you can see how beautiful that is. It's got a nice softness to it. I've already sliced up some so you could see how I want to place them on the tray. I'm using the parchment again. I just slid the parchment that I used to bake these right over. I recommend about 1 inch. As you can see, I kind of eyeballed it. And if it isn't exactly the 1 inch, there are no rules. No one's going to run up on you with a tape measure and go, it's not exactly 1 inch. We're not a professional bakery. We're doing... So this is what they look like. Now you can see that they're still very soft on the inside. That's why we're going to do the second bake. And we've got a beautiful, beautiful golden crust on the top. That's that egg, and it's very crispy. So we're going to just lay them here on their sides, just like this, if you can see them. As you can see them now. The chocolate chips in the microwave, and I had a tablespoon, I believe it was a tablespoon to a cup of the coconut oil, and I just put it right in here with the chocolate, and you just kind of swirl it around. You do it in 15 second intervals because you don't want it to break. And here we go. These are the size if you want to make traditional. It's traditional. And as you can see, this is the traditional. I march to my own drummer. If you want to be consistent, this is your size. Let's get back to that chocolate because we have to move fast on it so it doesn't break. All right, now it's getting where we want it to be. Here we are. Just going to put a pad down so it doesn't get too warm on the counter. But now you can see how beautiful that is. It's really silky. And that's how we want it. It has not broken. It's in terrific shape. And we're going to do a dip. We're just going to dip it down inside, just like that. See, so it's got a consistency. You want to just drizzle it off. And then tap it down into your nuts. And there we go. And it's going to come back over here and just sit. A little bit better. I only have so much room. But as you can see, I'm just kind of spreading it using my little spatula to get what I want. Letting it just drizzle off. Oof, we don't want a whole lot. And then we can just drizzle the almonds. And as you can see, I just drizzled the almonds. Boom. And let that go. There are no rules. You do what you want. These are only guidelines. These are only guidelines. I like to call it my jumping off points because we all have to have a jumping off point. For a drizzle, what I would like to do is actually I wanted to do it on the racks, but I'll show it to you real quick. I'm just going to grab here a fork. And right here with the fork, it's super, super simple, super, super simple. And you just ease it down. And that's as easy as it gets done. You can see that they've got this and they've got just the chocolate drizzle. So we'll see you on the flip side. And don't forget that I will put all the measurements and ingredients down in the description box. I'm going to finish this up. And then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to package them. I've got some wonderful, wonderful cellophane gift bags. I'm going to put those in. And I want to wish you all a happy and safe New Year's Eve and a wonderful celebration of New Year's Day. Just remember that I can't drive you home. I can't be your designated driver. So don't be shy about getting your Uber, your Lyft, your taxi. Take a train, take a plane, take a skateboard. Just don't get behind the wheel. Have fun. Just remember, alcohol loosens those lips. So just be mindful of what you say, because in a couple of days you don't want to be facing that person after you said something, not so kind. So looking forward to 2024, all the changes that are going to be happening. There always is. Not looking forward to tax season. Not looking forward to that one. So take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. Happy New Year.